In fact, NewsX had conducted a survey on this issue as well. We had conducted a survey on the women's reservation bill, and we had asked people of India on this. Let's show you what the view of the respondents to this survey was, so you get a sense of what the country is also feeling on this bill. There you can see it. The question we put forth was, do you support 33% women's reservation in Parliament? Look at the numbers, the results. Overwhelming 88% people saying yes, it should be implemented, it should be backed, they support it. 12% said no, 0% said they can't say. So overwhelming majority in favor of its implementation. Then we asked them, if any political party opposes implementation of the women's reservation, are you less likely to vote for them in the future? What were the results? Well, again, a big majority, 69% people said, yes, I am less likely to vote for opponents of women's reservation implementation. 31%, that's quite less, said, no, it won't affect my voting choice. So that is a big development coming in. And that's something that Tamilisai Soundarajan was just telling us. Remember, she's a candidate as well, contesting there in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is still to poll, West Bengal is still to poll. So this could now potentially become a big voting issue as well. And it could galvanize the women's vote as well. That's what the BJP will try to do. Kalyani Shankar, look at that result. 69% people, okay, I think we've lost Kalyani Shankar on the broadcast. Let me get in Jia Manjari, 69% respondents to a survey that we did say that they will not vote for any party that opposes the implementation of women's reservation, that attempts to defeat the bill, as we've seen happen today. Do you believe this could be something that the opposition should have thought about before voting against the bill?
Opposition is not being the right part of opposition, and being in opposition it doesn't mean that you shall oppose everything which is good. You shall be thinkful about what you are opposing for. You shall be thinkful about what is good for nation, what is good for equality. So that's what I think, that even if the Gen Z generation are millennials, they have seen their mothers, they have seen their sisters suffering for their own rights. They have seen their all daughters suffering for their own rights. Now they are not in support of their, women suffer for their own rights. They want that women shall be empowered, and then they shall fight elections, they shall be in the system, because they understand very well the problem of a society, of family, and being a nation as well. So that's what I think, that's how you are getting these kind of polls, that the new generation is not in favor of the parties who are opposing the bill. Come whatever may, whatever the, they are giving the excuses, but those excuses are not digestible at all. And the very logical thing which we can see is exactly like, the people representative have the, minimum population to cater.
Absolutely. Because Renu Bajpai, this bill has lapsed. You understand the constitution. You are an advocate of the Supreme Court. This bill has lapsed now. The earliest this will possibly happen now is 2034 or even beyond that. So at least till then, women are disenfranchised of this, big 33% ticket reservation which would have happened for them in Parliament, in Vidhan Sabhas across the country. It would have ushered in a whole new wave of women into decision-making roles, into positions of power. Right now, just about 14% of Parliament is women. That's nothing. And do you believe, this is something that the opposition party should have possibly seen before deciding to vote against this bill, at where they are, putting the bill in a limbo and women's rights in a limbo. And looking at the numbers, 88% people, look at our survey, 88% people backing the women's reservation bill. That's a huge majority of the country.
Right. See, we have seen that the bill has been defeated for the last, over 3 decades, I think. So continuously, for one or the other excuse, the bill has been defeated, and more than 50% of the population, the women's representation, they want this bill to be passed today. So now opposition should not, I personally feel, they should not oppose the bill just to oppose it. They need to understand. See, one issue I personally feel, it is basically what you just stated about North-South divide. because the political powers, they feel that it will be shifted from the northern, more political power to northern states like UP, Bihar, than to southern states. So something, whatever be the reason, but more of the women population, most of the women, they are disappointed. It is a huge setback to all the women.
Tanvi Pruthi, political analyst, is also with us. Tanvi, do you believe this is a big setback for women in the country? How are you interpreting this news coming in from Parliament that the Women's Reservation Bill has failed to clear the Lok Sabha? Didn't get two-thirds majority. It won't be implemented by 2029, Tanvi. As a woman, how does that make you feel?
I feel completely ridiculed, both by the government and the lack of compassion from the side of opposition. It's not like the government didn't anticipate that this would happen. Let's not fool ourselves. When they wanted to implement their ideological, agendas, Article 370 or any other, then they knew they had their numbers. They knew how to accumulate their numbers. But this time they forgot. Did they really think that the women of this country are fools? History is evident of the fact that women were never denied of their rights directly. They were always delayed, they were always humiliated like this, and then they were made to exhaust till the end. As a woman, I feel ridiculed today by the Prime Minister. The women representation is already the law of the land. It was made a law in 2023. It just needs implementation. It just needs guts.
No, but Tanvi Purti, who was it trying to get it implemented by 2029? It was Prime Minister Modi only. He was saying, I want to get it as soon as possible. He was saying, I want to get it as soon as possible. Why, the opposition, why won't the opposition and government unite for such an issue? Don't you believe such an issue should have evoked unity?
In such situations, the ball is in the government's court. The onus is on the government. Who is stopping the government to make the consensus with the opposition?
No, but don't you believe, Tanvi Purti, one second, don't you believe that there were concessions given? There were concessions given to try and get this bipartisan approach. They first agreed to base it on the 2011 census. Then they said, fine, let's not even do that. We'll have 50% proportionate increase so that no state feels left out, despite whatever the population in the 2011 census may have been. Then there was Amit Shah today in the evening who said, I'm willing to give it in writing as well. I'm willing to have it amended and put in the bill as well as the opposition parties want. Then, of course, the government also said that if the opposition parties want to take credit for it, we're willing to share the credit. So don't you believe some concessions were done?
This narrative of we tried won't sell in India. This narrative of we tried won't sell in India. The women of India are very smart.
Okay, so we tried does not work. What about those who defeated the bill? What would you say about them? Tanvi Purti.
By the bill to be passed in the parliament, the onus is on the government.
Okay,
they have to make sure that they have
so
the numbers to make it happen.
Selectively you believe it's the fault of the government. Interestingly, you don't want to speak about the opposition at all. That's quite selective. But I'll get in Jasmine Sandawale. I'll get in Jasmine Sandawale to respond to you. BJP spokesperson is with us as well. Jasmine Sandawaliya, Tanvi Purti is saying it was the onus of the government. They should have got this bill passed. They should have done more. Your response also, Jasmine Sandawaliya, as a woman, how do you feel today, given the fact that this bill that the Prime Minister spoke so passionately about, this bill that has got support from majority of people on our survey today as well on NewsX, and as we've seen at Nari Shakti Sammelans and other events, unfortunately, that bill has been defeated, Jasmine. Jasmine Sandawali, we can't hear you. Please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm a very sad and a defeated Indian woman today, because after 4 decades, something which was promised by Rajiv Gandhi, a dream which he dreamt for the Indian women, was unfortunately murdered and defeated by his own wife, son, and daughter. I wish they had shown vision, they had shown a logicy and a decency towards the 50% population of this country. And to accuse the Prime Minister that he is responsible of the defeat, you yourself have quoted that the Home Minister in the Parliament said that he can give in writing that the southern states do not need to be under any dilemma that they will be curtailed with their representation. Repeatedly, The opposition has got together to stall this. This is a lack of intent, a commitment, and it is a very, very sad day for women of India today. And I rest my case, and it defeats me further that Rajiv Gandhi's children and wife murdered his dream.
Dr. Palak Verma, Congress spokesperson, is also with us live. Dr. Palak Verma, of course, you can respond to Jasmine there. She's saying this was the dream of Rajiv Gandhi. This was the dream of many other women, which was finally being implemented by PM Modi. Why then did your party and the opposition decide to defeat this bill? Dr. Palak Verma, and you can answer this question as a woman as well yourself, who would have benefited from this 33% reservation possibly by 2029.
Yeah, so I want to say that this was not a women's reservation bill. This was a bill to change the electoral map of India. Because if you talk about Rajiv Gandhi ji in 1993, April and June, 73rd and 74th Amendment, the local body elections reservation was done, through which 15 lakh women are representing in panchayats and local bodies. I have myself contested 2 local body elections and won. I am a product of that. So this was Congress nature, and this is a Congress nature. In 2023, Congress supported the bill because they wanted women reservation bill in the Lok Sabha. But this, what is this? This is the classic bait and switch. Use women as the emotional public facing centerpiece, while the real game is redrawing constituencies to suit BJP strongholds. This was the game behind this. The entire thing, if you study, there was no allocation.
Dr. Palak Verma, aren't you wary though? Aren't you wary though that your party will now be painted as anti-women? That the public of India will perhaps unite against opposition, particularly women of India? Are you